reffing in general,
Yeah.
not even just in the NBA, in every single sport right now is like at its absolute lowest point. It is so bad watching refs.
There's
Like,
nothing.
I think the
like
NBA
baseball-
screwed themselves. In my
Baseball
opinion,
has some
Yeah.
of the worst umpires I've ever seen
Yeah.
right now. It is bad.
I think the problem with the NBA though with their refs, I think the refs were set up for failure. I think the way that they have called or the way they've gone about positioning fouls and what they are and what they mean, I think it's just I just think as a ref, like this is the thing is basketball is one of the few sports where they ask you to make calls that you wouldn't make in the first quarter. They ask you to make those calls in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, so it changes during the game.
It changes
and
throughout
in
the
the
game.
playoffs. And
Yes, and
Yeah.
and like in what other sport do we see that
Yeah.
at such a level? I mean,
Yeah.
you might see it at a similar level, maybe a lesser. You might
Yeah.
see it, but in a lesser amount.
and you have
But
a
in
lane.
basketball, we quite literally say, okay, in the first 3 quarters, you're gonna ref one way, and in the fourth quarter, you need to call it differently.
Yeah.
And that's like pretty commonly known.
Yep.
And then you get into go from the regular season to playoffs. They go from calling every ticky-tack foul to like, oh, we're going to let the Rockets just absolutely beat the living poo out of Steph Curry.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's that type of stuff where it's like, they have set these refs up for failure because they have made the rules into a way where their interpretation is so vast that now we've set an expectation for refs to call things differently throughout games and throughout the season.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have, first of all, they actually called a lane violation the other night. I was stunned. And yes, he walked in maybe 5 minutes early in the lane, but still, every play, there's a lane violation. Traveling, there's a traveling rule, and there is traveling
All the
every
time.
possession.
Yeah.
I've seen people do step backs to their step backs. I mean, so it's like
Shout out James
Harden. James Harden set that whole thing up. I love some of the clips you can see on YouTube going around where people are shoplifting and they're sitting there doing the James Harden. But I don't know. I think the NBA reffing is terrible. But anyway, overall, I wouldn't want to be a ref, but I think you can help them. I think to your point, I think you can help them if it's consistent.
I'm going to be honest. NBA refs get paid way too much for them to care whether or not you think they're good.
They don't care, you mean?
You know how much they make?
Yeah. So they have actually. So one of our
They make like $150K a year.
okay, yeah. Then they get free
Everything.
living basically because they're flying and they get free room and all that kind
Uh-huh.
of stuff. So in
Yeah.
every stadium, they actually have extra refs that
Yeah.
sit in the stands. So we have a family member that did that, and he got tickets, and they sit in the lower level and they grade and they send to the NBA their stuff. I think they might have just stopped this recently, but they send their reports off and they talk to the refs during the
Yeah.
game.
Really?
They sit in the crowds. Yeah,
Huh.
I think they just stopped this just maybe a year or two ago, but they've always
Wow.
done that. So anyway, so that's that. I want to know from you guys if you guys agree or you disagree with any of this stuff. Please let us know. Do you think the NBA is rigged? I want to hear. Please add your comments. That would be awesome. We'd love to hear your thoughts on that.